The sound of silence, fast cameras were rolling. Their lights were bright. Everything on set was silent, except for the soft sound of Anna's breathing. She was standing in the middle of a carefully built living room scene. Dressed in a simple gray dress, her hands trembling slightly. This was her third take of the same emotional scene, and something just wasn't working. The director, a man known for his sharp instructions and louder-than-needed voice, called out again, "Action." Anna took a slow breath, stepped forward, and opened her mouth to speak. But the moment the first tear touched her cheek, she froze. Her voice cracked halfway through the line, and she looked down at the floor, blinking fast to hold back more tears. The set went quiet. No one moved. The director stood up, frustrated. "Cut, Anna. Come on. We've been through this. You know the scene? Let's try it again." His tone was firm, but there was no kindness in it. A few crew members looked at each other, uneasy. They could see what was happening, but no one said a word. Anna didn't answer. She kept staring at the ground, her chest rising and falling in silence. Her lips moved slightly, like she was whispering something to herself. She looked fragile, not like a superstar actress, but like a person barely holding on. Keanu was sitting quietly near the edge of the set. He had no scene scheduled for the day. He'd come just to watch, to be there, because he believed in showing up for the people he cared about. When he saw Anna freeze like that, he stood up without a word. "Out!" The air changed. Even the director paused when he saw Keanu walk toward the center of the set. Keanu didn't say anything at first, just walked over to Anna and stood beside her. She didn't look up, but she felt his presence. Slowly, gently, he reached out and placed his hand on her shoulder. The small gesture said more than any words could. The director raised his voice, trying to take control again. "Keanu, we're in the middle of a take. Please, we need to get this done." But Keanu ignored him. He turned to Anna and spoke quietly, his voice calm, almost like a whisper. "You're not alone," he said. "Just breathe. Take your time." Anna blinked, and the tears finally fell, not from the scene, but from the pain she had been carrying for weeks. No one on set knew about the sleepless nights she'd been having. The messages she never answered, the way she stayed in her trailer long after shooting ended. No one, except Keanu. He had noticed the little things, the forced smiles, the way she avoided eye contact during lunch. He never pushed her to explain, but he never stopped being there. The director looked uncomfortable now. Something about the way Keanu stood next to Anna, so quietly and respectfully, made the whole crew pause. This wasn't about the scene anymore. This was real. Anna looked up at Keanu slowly. Their eyes met, and for a moment, nothing else existed. No cameras, no lights, no director yelling. What? Just two people standing in the middle of a set, both holding onto something fragile. Keanu nodded slightly. "Say the line. It's just to me, no one else." Anna wiped her cheek. She took a shaky breath and looked at him, not acting anymore, just speaking from the deepest part of herself. "I'm scared," she whispered, and something in Keanu's eyes softened. "I know." The crew was silent. Even the director didn't move. No one knew if the cameras were still rolling, but it didn't matter. What just happened was more powerful than any scene they could have written. After a long pause, the director cleared his throat. "Let's take 5. But no one moved. They just stood there watching as Anna slowly leaned into Keanu's shoulder. He didn't speak. He didn't try to fix anything. He just let her be. He let her cry without fear. He gave her the space no one else thought to give. Outside, the sky had turned a soft orange. Golden light streamed through the windows of the set, falling gently across Anna's face. The tears still shimmered on her skin, but there was peace in her eyes now. It's not because the pain was gone, but because she no longer had to carry it alone. Everyone on set saw something that day. It's not just a powerful performance, not just a moment of vulnerability. They saw kindness. It's quiet, strong, respectful kindness. And for the first time in days, Anna smiled. It was small, barely there, but it was real. When silence speaks louder than orders next morning, the set felt different. The crew moved more gently. The light seemed softer. Even the air felt like it was holding its breath. Everyone was still thinking about what happened the day before. No one talked about it out loud, but it lingered, the image of Anna breaking down and Keanu stepping in without saying much, yet saying everything. Anna arrived earlier than anyone expected. She wore a simple black hoodie and no makeup. Her hair tied back. She walked slowly across the lot, her hands inside her sleeves. She didn't look like a star today, and that was the point. She didn't want to shine. She just wanted to feel okay. Keanu was already there. He was sitting alone on the edge of the set, reading an old paperback novel, legs crossed, calm as ever. When he saw her, he closed the book and gave her a small nod. She nodded back but didn't smile. Not yet. The director spotted her from a distance and started walking over. His face was tight with concern, but there was also guilt in his eyes. He had watched the footage from the previous day again and again. And for the first time in his long career, he realized something. He had missed the signs. He had treated Anna like a performance machine, not a person. Anna, he said quietly as he reached her, I wanted to apologize. I shouldn't have pushed you yesterday. I didn't see what was really happening. She looked at him for a moment. Her expression was unreadable. Then she nodded slightly. Thank you, she said. Her voice was steady, but soft. Do you want to take the day off, Anna? Paused. She looked over at Keanu, then back at the director. No, she said. I want to try again. The director seemed surprised. Are you sure? Yes, she said, but only if we do it my way. He raised his eyebrows. Do you mean? She turned to Keanu. Want him in the scene with me? Keanu didn't flinch. He just watched her with calm eyes. The director frowned. Keanu isn't in this scene? Anna crossed her arms. He doesn't have to speak. Just stand there like yesterday. The director hesitated. But then he saw the way the crew members were watching people who had worked with him for years. People who had never questioned his choices before. Now they were waiting to see if he'd listen. He sighed. Okay, if that's what you need. Anna nodded once. It is. They reset the scene. Same living room set. Same soft lighting. Same camera angles. But this time, Keanu stood just two. The side, barely visible in the frame. He didn't have lines. He didn't need them. Anna stepped forward. The moment she began the scene, something changed. She wasn't acting. She was remembering. The character she was playing was a woman who had lost everything. Her family. Her voice. Her confidence. And now, she was trying to find her way back. For the first time, Anna wasn't pretending. She was speaking from the cracks in her own heart. You think I'm strong? Anna said in the scene, looking just past the camera. But I'm not. I break. I fall apart. I cry when no one's looking, and sometimes, I wish I could just disappear. Her voice didn't shake. It rang out in the silence, and Keanu stood there, unmoving. But his presence filled the room. He didn't blink. He didn't look away. And because of that, Anna kept going. But I'm still here, she whispered. Even if I don't know why, even if it hurts. When the director finally called cut, no one moved. Took a full 10 seconds before anyone even breathed. And then, quietly, the sound guy whispered, that was it. The camera operator nodded. That was the one. The director looked at Anna with something close to awe. That was ... beautiful. Anna looked down at her hands. They were still shaking, but she smiled just a little. This time it stayed. Longer. The rest of the day passed in a calm flow. People gave Anna space, but also soft smiles and warm eyes. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like she was walking through fog. She felt seen. She felt safe. Later that evening, as the sun began to set and the crew packed up, Anna sat on the edge of the set next to Keanu. Thank you, she said. He looked over at her. You don't have to. I do, she replied, because yesterday I almost gave up. Keanu tilted his head. On what? On everything, she whispered. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You were. Never alone. Not even for a second. Anna looked up at the sky. Soft pink and orange clouds painted the horizon. It was quiet, but it wasn't empty. She took a deep breath and let it stay in her lungs for a moment longer than usual. "Do you think people can start over?" "What?" she asked. Keanu didn't rush to answer. He watched the sky with her, then said, "I think people don't start over. They keep walking, even when it hurts. One day they look back and realize there's somewhere better." Anna closed her eyes. Maybe that was true. She wasn't broken. Maybe she was just walking through a part of the story that felt heavy. But now, she wasn't walking alone. Shadows beyond the lights. From the moment Anna walked onto the stage that morning, the air felt charged. Whispers followed her like a gentle wind. Some crew members exchanged looks. Others tried to focus on their work, but their eyes kept drifting. To her, the story of yesterday's breakthrough scene was already moving beyond the lot, as Anna readied herself for the day's first shot. A junior producer hurried over, tablet in hand. "Anna, there's been a story online. Some sites are calling. Today's shoot the tearful return. They say you finally broke through thanks to Keanu's support." She glanced at Anna, hopeful. "You know, it's good press." Anna forced a small smile. "I know." She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again. "Let's just film." The producer nodded and left. Anna walked to her mark. Keanu stood just off to the side, as always. He caught her eye and offered a quiet nod. She returned it with steady calm. The director signaled action. Anna began her lines. The scene was gentle, a quiet conversation between two old friends. She spoke with honesty. Keanu listened without a word. The cameras captured every shade of her face, but the world outside was shifting. By lunch, social media buzzed. Fans cheered Anna's bravery. Critics praised Keanu's kindness. And a few voices began to whisper doubts. Had Anna faked her tears? Was this all a stunt? The words publicity and gimmick floated in the comments. Anna tried not to read them, but when the producer showed her screenshots, she felt her heart tighten. "Don't let it bother you," the producer said gently. "Fans love you. They know the truth." Anna nodded, but she didn't feel sure. She remembered the fear she felt yesterday. She remembered the real tears. And now she doubted even those. That afternoon, they shot a new scene. It was a tense moment. Anna's character, still fragile, faced a sudden accident on the set's fake balcony. The plan was simple. She would stumble. Keanu would catch her. But when Anna stepped back to rehearse, her foot slipped on a loose board. She lost balance more quickly than expected. Before anyone could cut, Keanu moved. He ran forward and caught Anna by the waist. The moment froze time. The director shouted in panic, but Keanu's arms were already steady. On his eyes widened. She felt his heart beat through his shirt. "Are you okay?" he asked, voice soft but firm. Anna nodded, voice caught in her throat. She realized she was safe because of him. The crew rushed in to check the set to fix the board. The producer ran over with water. Anna stayed in Keanu's arms for a moment longer, breathing deeply. Later, when they reviewed the footage, everyone saw something unexpected. The cameras had captured Keanu's face in that moment, concern, relief, and something unspoken that felt like warmth. It wasn't part of the script, but it fit perfectly. The director stared at the screen. "We need that take," he whispered. They used it. The scene went live in today's taping, but tight shots of Keanu and Anna were already appearing online. The whispers about fake tears were drowned by new ones. "Did you see Keanu catch her?" That moment was real, yet unease still grew inside Anna. She felt exposed. She felt every set board, every camera light, every breath pushed weight onto her shoulders. She stood with Keanu during the break, leaning on him for strength. He offered her a bottle of water and a quiet smile. "You did fine," he said. Was real. Anna closed her eyes. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe in her own truth. But the shadows were still there. Doubts in her mind. Doubts from strangers far away. Doubts she could not shake. That evening after they wrapped, Anna sat alone in the dark corner of her trailer. She stared at the floor as messages on her phone lit up with praise and criticism. Her walls felt too small, her thoughts too loud. Suddenly there was a knock. Keanu stepped inside quietly. "Mind if I sit?" She looked up. He settled beside her, leaving space between them. He didn't ask for permission. He just sat as if he belonged there. "You can't control what people say," he said, "but you can choose what you believe." Anna turned her phone off. She took a deep breath. She looked at Keanu. "I believe this," she whispered. "I believe you," he nodded. "That's enough." Outside, the city lights blinked like distant stars. Inside, the trailer felt a little less lonely, and in that quiet space, Anna understood something new. Resilience wasn't about ignoring fear, it was about facing it, with kindness guiding the way. Their journey was far from over, but together, they could walk through any shadow. The door she never expected to open the next morning began with calm skies and soft wind. Anna arrived earlier than usual, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. The weight of yesterday's accident had faded into something deeper, trust, not just in Keanu, but in herself. The crew greeted her more gently now. There was a new sense of respect around her, not because she cried or slipped, but because she got up. Every time Keanu was already sitting near the wardrobe trailer, sipping a coffee and watching the birds dart between the trees nearby, he waved her over with a quiet smile, letting the silence wrap around them like an old song. "You sleep okay?" he asked. Anna nodded. "Better for once?" "Yeah." Keanu didn't ask more. He never pushed. And that's why she felt safe enough to say, after a pause, "I used to think crying made me weak." He glanced at her gently. "What changed?" "You did," she said. Before he could answer, a sharp voice called from across the lot. The producer jogged toward them, phone in hand. "Anna, someone's here to see you. I think you should come." Anna stood, confused. "Who?" The producer hesitated. "Someone from your past." Her stomach tightened. She didn't ask more. She just followed. As they reached the outer gate of the studio lot, Anna saw him, her father. She hadn't seen him in years. Not since before her. Career took off, not since the last argument that left both of them broken. He stood nervously, holding a small suitcase. His eyes were older, more tired, but they still held the same depth she remembered as a child. "Anna," he said, voice dry. She froze. Every breath in her body felt like glass. "Why are you here?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. "I saw the video," he said. "The one where you broke down." I didn't know you were hurting like that." Her jaw clenched. "You didn't ask." He nodded, eyes filled with regret. "I know. I didn't come to make excuses. I just ... wanted to see you. Say, I'm sorry. And to tell you that I'm proud of you. Not for the acting, but for standing up again." Anna didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to run. Part of her wanted to cry. Instead, she turned away when Keanu was standing quietly nearby, watching but not interrupting. "Can we talk?" her father asked gently. "Just you and me." Anna looked at Keanu. He nodded once. "I'll be right here," he said. She stepped outside the gate with her father. They sat on a bench near the parking lot, under a small tree. The shade felt safe, familiar. "I wasn't a good dad," he admitted. "I pushed you too hard. I made you feel like nothing you did was enough. I've watched your films, every one of them, but never reached out because I didn't think I deserved to." Anna looked at him, and for a moment she didn't see the man who raised his voice, or the man who disappeared when she needed him most. She saw a tired man trying to piece together something he broke long ago. "I wanted you to be strong," he whispered. "But I didn't understand that strength also means being soft." Anna's voice cracked. "I needed your kindness more than your rules." He nodded, tears forming in his eyes. "I know." They sat in silence. The wind moved the leaves gently, like the world was breathing for them both. After a long pause, Anna stood. "I'm working now. I have to go back." Her father stood too. "I'll be in town for a few days. If you want to talk again, ... I'll wait." She didn't say yes. But she didn't say no either. When she walked back inside, Keanu met her halfway. She didn't speak. She just walked toward him, and for the first time, she hugged him, fully, tightly, her arms around his chest, her head against his shoulder. He hugged her back. You okay? He whispered. I think so, she said. I didn't know I needed. That sometimes healing shows up when we least expect it, he replied. The rest of the day moved slowly. Scenes were shot. Lines were delivered. But everyone noticed something different in Anna now. She wasn't just acting anymore. She was alive in every frame. Her pain didn't hide behind her smile. It danced with it. Every flicker of it that evening, after the final scene, the director called for quiet. He stood at the center of the set. I want to say something, he began. This film is no longer what we wrote on paper. Something bigger. And that's because of what Anna gave us. Not just as an actress, but as a person. He turned to her, sincere. Thank you for letting us witness something real. The crew clapped. Not loud, but with deep meaning. Anna stood still, heart pounding. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But for the first time, she believed she could face it. That night, Keanu walked her to her car. The lot was empty. Stars were out. Do you regret letting him back in? He asked. Anna shook her head. No, not sure if I trust him again. But I'm not angry anymore. And that's enough for now. Keanu smiled. Then you're stronger than you think. Anna looked at him. I think you're the reason I remembered how to be. He didn't reply. He didn't need to. They stood in silence for a while, side by side under the night sky. A test no script could prepare her fourth morning was too quiet. Something felt off. Anna sensed it the moment she stepped out of her trailer. The usual rustling of crew members, the clinking of equipment, the distant hum of conversation, all of it felt muted, like the whole set was holding its breath. Keanu wasn't around yet. That alone made her uneasy. A production assistant approached her quickly. Anna, he said, nervous. There's been a problem. She stiffened. What happened? Someone leaked raw footage, he whispered. From the day you broke down, Anna froze. What do you mean leaked? The unedited take, he said, eyes down. You crying? Keanu holding your shoulder. Everything. It's already trending. People are making their own edits. Some are calling it real, others think it was staged. The studio is panicking. Anna didn't move. Her hands were cold. Her breath shallow. She had shared that moment only with the people on set. With Keanu. With silence. Who leaked it? She asked. They're investigating, he replied. But, ... Some say it might have come from the studio itself. Her stomach turned an hour. Later, Keanu arrived. She walked straight to him and showed him the video on her phone. He watched in silence, his jaw tightening slightly. The background music someone had added to the clip made it feel dramatic, not sacred. They took something private, Anna said softly, and turned it into content. No, Keanu replied, voice low. I'm sorry. Why would they do this? She whispered. Because real emotions scare them, he said. And when they scare people, they become powerful. And when something is powerful, they want to control it. Just then, the director called for a meeting. The main cast, key crew, and producers gathered on the soundstage. The studio head, a clean-shaven man in a crisp suit, stood in front of everyone. The footage leak has given the film unexpected attention, he said. We didn't plan for it, but now we have millions of eyes watching. This could change everything. Anna stared at him. You saying we should use my breakdown to promote the movie? He smiled politely. I'm saying the audience is hungry for honesty. And this... This felt honest. Keanu took a step forward. It was honest. That's the point. It wasn't for sale. The studio head raised an eyebrow. We're not exploiting it. We're honoring it. Said, you're packaging it. The room fell quiet. That moment was mine, Anna continued. It wasn't a performance. It was pain. And the only reason it happened on camera is because no one gave me space until someone finally did. The studio. Head looked at the director. Can we use the footage in the final cut? Anna didn't wait for an answer. Not without my permission. A few crew members nodded subtly. Someone clapped, just once, then stopped. The silence became heavier. Anna looked at the director. You said this movie changed because of that moment. Then let it really change. Let it be something human. Keanu stood beside her. If we pretend it's just part of the story, we miss the truth, and we lose something deeper. The director was quiet for a long time, and slowly he nodded. We'll keep it out, he said. We'll finish this the right way. The studio head didn't look pleased, but he said nothing more. The next few days on set felt like walking on a thin rope. Some people supported Anna, others avoided eye contact. But no one could deny that her presence had changed something. One evening, near wrap time, the final emotional scene was set to shoot. It was one of the hardest scenes in the script, a moment where Anna's character finally lets go of her past, standing alone in an empty room, speaking to the ghost of someone who left her. Anna stood on set, staring into the silence. "Rolled, you left me," she said softly, "and I hated you for it. But now, I miss you more than I miss being angry." Tears fell slowly, not forced, not performed, just ... true. "I don't forgive you yet. Maybe I never will, but I forgive myself." For holding on to the pain, she paused. Let the silence speak. "I'm still here." Cut. No one spoke. The director's eyes were wet. The crew stood frozen. Even the grips looked shaken. It was more than acting. It was healing. Later in the dressing room, Anna stared at her reflection. She barely recognized the person looking back, not because of how she looked, but because of how she felt. Strong. Tired. Proud. Keanu knocked on the door. She opened it. "You were incredible," he said. She shook her head. "I was just ... honest. And that's what makes you unforgettable," he said. She leaned against the doorway. "Do you think I'll be okay when this is over?" Keanu smiled gently. "You already are." She smiled back. And for once, she believed him. The red carpet and the choice that matterettes. Premiere night arrived with flashing lights and golden ropes. Anna stood just behind the curtain. Dressed in a simple cream gown that moved like soft wind, the crowd outside cheered as stars stepped. Out of black cars, cameras clicked. Microphones stretched forward. But inside, she stood still, quiet. Breathing. Keanu was beside her, dressed in a dark suit, calm as ever. He looked at her and asked the question he had asked many times before. "You okay?" Anna didn't answer right away. She looked down at her hands, then up at him. "I think I finally am." "Then let's walk," he said. Together, they stepped onto the red carpet. The crowd went wild. Reporters shouted their names. Flashes lit the sky. But Anna didn't flinch. She held her head high, her steps steady. Not because she wanted to be seen, but because she had something to say. As they reached the final stretch of the carpet, a reporter rushed forward, camera rolling. "Anna," she shouted, "millions have seen the leaked footage from your emotional moment on set. Many are calling it the most real performance of your career. How do you feel about that?" Anna paused. The microphone was close. The world was watching. This was the moment her team had prepared her for, the big soundbite, the perfect quote. But she ignored the script in her mind. She looked into the camera and spoke from her heart. What the world saw wasn't acting. It was me, ... breaking. And then standing back up, not because I was strong, but because someone stood beside me when I needed it most. She glanced at Keanu. He gave her a small nod. If that moment helped even one person feel less alone, then I'm okay with the world seeing it. But please remember, not every tear is a performance. Some are pieces of healing. The reporter lowered her mic slowly. The crowd went quiet for a breath. And then the applause began. Not just the loud, showy kind, but the slow, deep kind. The kind that meant people felt something. Anna smiled, eyes damp. Keanu offered her his arm. She took it inside the theater. The film began. As the credits rolled nearly 2 hours later, people rose to their feet. A standing ovation filled the room. But Anna didn't rise with them. She sat still, heart full. Not from pride, it's not from fame, but from something deeper, peace. After the screening, the director approached her with quiet eyes. "You changed this film," he said. "You changed me." She nodded but said nothing. The studio head came next, offering a half-hearted smile. "You made something special," he said, And you were right. Some things aren't for sale. Anna didn't answer. She didn't need to outside, as the night ended and guests slowly left. Keanu and Anna sat on the steps of the theater, shoes off, sipping water from paper cups. The stars above were quiet, soft, like old friends. So Keanu asked, "What? Now?" Anna thought for a moment. "Maybe I take a break?"
From films?
"From pretending," she said. He smiled. "Then what will you do?" "I'll write," she said. "Something small, something honest. You've always had that in you." Anna looked out into the dark sky. "Maybe I just forgot." They sat there for a long time. Two friends, two hearts still healing. No cameras, no scripts, just silence. And for the first time in a very long time, Anna didn't feel like she needed to say anything to be understood. A few weeks later, headlines read, "Ana de Armas takes step back from spotlight, focuses on healing, writing, and personal growth." But the real story didn't fit into headlines, because the real story was this. Anna didn't walk away from her career. She walked toward herself. And Keanu, he didn't save her. He simply stood by her until she remembered she didn't need saving. And in a world full of noise, sometimes the greatest kindness is just to sit beside someone and say nothing at all.